Hi again, everyone, and welcome to another episode of RVBusiness SupplySide Showcase. I'm Rick Kessler, and joining me, Chris Cieto, and joining the two of us is Stephanie Alderman. Stephanie is the CEO of Prepare, formerly known as Reserve Max, and we'll get into that. But first, let me explain that the SupplySide Showcase is a relatively new video series by RVBusiness, sponsored by Lightspeed. And it's meant to showcase certain companies that are helping move the RV industry in a positive direction. There, the introduction is done. Stephanie, thank you very much for joining us.
Hi, Rick. Great to be here.
Stephanie, and let me get this right. I'm going to read my notes. CEO, like we mentioned, you drive the company's strategic vision, the culture, and its business development. And your career is focused on financial operations, lending, and technology. And technology, of course, is probably one of the primary drivers of Prepare.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. So my background is financing through mortgages and for investments. But throughout my career, I have worked to make operational flows and trading and all those different things. Oh my goodness, I'm messing this up. More efficient. So I've partnered with some F&I experts here to create new products for the RV industry specifically, marine coming later, but for RV specifically now, to help dealerships deal with the F&I process from the beginning of the process to the end, from sales all the way through. We're building tools to help make those workflows more efficient.
Very good. Chris?
Awesome. Well, Stephanie, thanks so much again for joining us. And we first met Reserve Max, now Prepare, out of the 2023 RVDA convention out in Las Vegas at the Paris Hotel. Tell us a little bit more about the thinking and strategy behind the name change and what's transpired since the convention.
Yeah, I'd love to. So what's transpired since the convention is we've gone live with 20 customers. And we're up and running, across the country in various locations. We are building new tools now. And so the reason we've changed from Reserve Max to Prepare is because while we were initially focused on the lending part of F&I and making sure that a finance manager had the tools they need to pick the right lender every time and to structure the deal properly, right? So being able to compare front end, back end, reserve rates, interest rates across their lenders in one glance. We can still do that. But what we're also building now are desking tools, sales manager tools, starting a little earlier in the process, taking that finance information, that good information, and moving it forward so sales managers can structure deals properly before they even get to F&I, right? So that we're not handcuffing someone in the F&I team, and that we can optimize the structure of every deal for the dealership.
This sounds go ahead.
So Prepare comes from the fact that we're also integrating with 700 Credit. We're currently in testing with them for their pre-qualification tool. So now a sales manager, when someone walks into their office, will be able to pull a soft pull, pre-qualify a customer right then and there with their own lenders, right? So it's not a generic pre-qualification. They're going to be able to use our tool and say, oh, okay, well, it looks like I've got the finance guys in the back. I've got 3 different lenders that we have that can work with this customer and give them an idea of what their sell rates would be, what their structure of the deal would look like, how much front end room they have, how much back end room they have, so that when they're striking a deal, or maybe even before they show the collateral to, RVs to the customer, they know where they should take them, right?
Wow, this sounds like absolutely, and not to use a cliche, but a win-win, both for the dealership as well as for that customer.
That's right. That's right. And so, right, you're not wasting anybody's time, and you're getting the best value for the customer and the dealership, right? So we're very excited about it.
This question I'm asking is almost back-ended, but you obviously saw a need to begin this process earlier. Can you talk a little bit more about that, how it's becoming one big cohesive unit now?
Yeah, well, so what we saw when we walked into dealerships and talked to their general managers and owners and their finance managers was, there's varying levels of knowledge by sales manager in each dealership, right? People
Yeah.
are structured differently, people are set up differently, and we don't want to give someone too much information, right? As far as we don't want to make someone dangerous on the front end, but but we do want to take that knowledge. I mean, what we've said all along was, you can't replace a good F&I manager. You can't replace an F&I manager, period. We're not trying to, right? We're trying to build tools to help them work more efficiently, find the best reserve, find the best rate, find the best deal for the dealership, for themselves, for the customer, right? And so when you can see your options laid out in one screen and easily compare, it's a lot easier. So thinking that way was, when we first started putting this tool out there, it was, hey, we can level up your F&I manager. Well, now we can level up your sales force or your sales manager, depending on how, we have customers have their salespeople use it already, even without, the new 700 credit integration, right? Because it's a desking tool for them. And so it just depends on how you want to use it. But that's where we think it really adds value is, making sure you can qualify leads now, right? In a different way. You can run things through our tool where you have that information and know who you should call, even if you've got a list of leads. So we think it's really valuable to qualify leads and to help find the best deal for a customer when they walk in.
Very good.
That's fantastic. You mentioned that some of the clients have already started to use some of these new features. How have they reacted to not only those new features, but also the name change and what you're bringing to the table right now?
Yeah, well, I was out in Oregon last week, 2 weeks ago, and was talking to one of our customers who does exactly that. Their sales managers, their salespeople use it. So they're really excited and they agreed. Prepare was definitely a better name for us because that's how they're viewing the tool, right? Is they're very excited. They can't wait till they can pre-qualify somebody with our tool, but they're not even doing that yet. And they're able to look and see, okay, I can compare across their lenders. Now, in certain markets, you may have folks who have 40 credit unions, right? Certain areas of the country have a lot more credit unions. Whether you have 15 lenders or whether you have 45 lenders, it's still going to help you do that, the math quickly, simply, and be able to compare. But the customers that are using it so far, I'll tell you what, they've been very patient in waiting for new tools, right? So we appreciate that, but we keep showing them what's coming, and it's next month. So we're pretty excited about the fact that next month is when we get to roll this out, and so are they. So they are clamoring to get signed up for that service, and we're excited about it because we think adding credit, the ability to see credit in our system just makes it that much more valuable, right? Because we can only compare based on what we have information-wise. And we don't want customers typing in 15 trade lines into our system manually, right? So now that we're going to have all that information, trade lines and high credit limit, DTI, all this information, it will be much, much, much more easier. Much easier. We can edit that, right? No, much easier to compare both, whether you're a skilled F&I guy or gal, or whether you're someone just saying, okay, well, it looks like I do have a deal, right? We think with credit challenge folks on the front end, this is going to be extremely helpful just for someone to go, oh, maybe I do. And I can actually quote a sell rate that, or a rate that is going to be in line with what is going to be quoted later. That's a big part of it, is making sure that from the very beginning, customer experience, that they're not getting sort of bait and switched, right? You don't want to quote 8% and then try to give them 11, right? So that is extremely helpful.
Let's take a quick break. We'll listen to a message from Lightspeed. And when we come back, Stephanie, I'd like you to tell us how this also will help the end user.
Take your RV business to new heights with Lightspeed, the ultimate dealer management solution to manage inventory, sales, and service seamlessly. Plus, with tools designed to enhance the customer experience, like our new service tech video, you can ensure your customers leave happy every time. With over 4 decades of expertise, we're equipped to help you amplify efficiency, drive sales, and ensure customer satisfaction with every step of the journey. Visit lightspeeddms.com for more information and request a demo today.
Hey, and welcome back, everybody. Rick Kessler with Chris Cieto, and joining us, Stephanie Alderman from Prepare, formerly Reserve Max. And Stephanie, right before the break, I teased you a little bit. We're going to have you tell us how this process will help the end user, that retail customer.
Yeah, for sure. So there's multiple ways it's going to help, but the big way is they're going to get the best deal they can get through the dealership. That's, if you're comparing across your lenders and you're able to see where you can offer a lower rate or where you can offer more financing, a lower down payment for a customer to meet their needs, that's huge. So the customer experience will be better because they'll be able to get in and out a little quicker when it comes to what they might be able to do and understand financing, but also just the end result is they pay less money, hopefully, right? That is it's more valuable. And what we're also building that's rolling out in the next month as well is the ability. So now once you've pre-qualified a customer, how do you sort of reverse engineer that? How do you say, okay, well, here's all of my lenders. What does that look like? Well, we're going to have filters in there. So if a customer comes in and says, I'm looking for a fifth wheel. I can't spend more than $1,000 a month, and I've got $10,000 put down, right? Those are 3 of the filters we have. We have about 9. You could put like max rate, you could put term, right? You can qualify these based on what you're hearing from the customer all the way at the front at the sales process. So you hear that from the customer. Now you can say, well, now do I have a lender that'll put 0 down? Do I have a lender that'll, they'll do this deal with only $10,000 down? And what does that rate look like? Because the rates change based on those criteria, right? And so then you're arming your sales and sales managers with that kind of information, again, to make it an accurate rate, to make sure they're getting the best rate. And so once you've done that, then that's the customer experience. That's where we think that is extremely helpful. And when we show that to customers, we definitely have them wanting that as soon as possible, right? Very and so we're working on it. Yeah.
Well, Stephanie, how will this help? Dealers always have a certain number of lenders that they are used to going to help get deals put through. How will your new tools help connect dealers with new lenders?
Well, there's 2 things there. There's new lenders, but there's also using the lenders you already have that you don't really use. And so that's one of those that we've found is been extremely helpful. So, and for good reason, people tend to stick with the lenders they know, or they, it's the easiest path of least resistance. And it's easy to do that when you don't really see, right in your face, the difference that in what a deal could be with another lender, right? Our tool is going to help the F&I manager say, oh, I keep going to this bank, but this other bank every other deal seems to be more competitive, right? Maybe I should explore that. And what we've seen is, especially with the large number of credit unions, there's a lot more options out there that folks aren't using that they already have access to. And so this just shines the light on that. But for new lenders, we're working with, we've got a couple lenders we're working with right now and others coming to help build tools to build pre-approval processes for those lenders in certain cases to help. What we're really trying to do is take the guesswork out of submitting, right? So we're not a submitting system. We're complementary to all those tools out there, but we want to make sure that, there's no shotgunning, that you're picking the best lender and you feel confident in that lender whenever it leaves our tool, that's where you should go, right? But new lenders we're working with, we're rolling this out in about 3rd quarter of this year, which is the ability to see lenders in your market. So, we know about a lot of lenders. We have relationships with lenders. So if you're in Ohio and you're using our tool, but you don't know about, these other credit unions or these other lenders in your area, we're going to have the ability to let you know that they exist, show you exactly what would have happened on this deal with that lender, and then connect you with that lender.
Wow, this is impressive. You not to put words in your mouth, but you are setting up your dealer partners to be the champion for their retail customers.
Yeah, we think so. We think that it's going to be a very powerful tool, and especially for the independent dealer. Most of our dealers are, 1, 2, 3 dealerships, and there's a reason for that. It's because they can the value is so clear across their dealership when they use these tools, right? It's harder for them to have specialized, experts. They don't really have a director of finance, right? Those places. And so this is it's helping that. And we're partnering with folks who do training, right? We're not replacing any of that. You still have to know how to read an invoice. You still have to know all those things. You still have to know what to look for and how to submit. But what we're doing is making that process easier.
Very good. Chris?
Yeah, so with this new tool that you're implementing, and you said it was going to come out in Q3, correct?
The indirect adding the lenders into your market is coming out in Q3.
Okay. With adding in these new tools, these new features, I'm sure there are probably foreseen challenges that you'll have bringing them to market and working with specific partners. Can you explain how Prepare will help address these changes for dealers?
Yeah, well, some of it's relationships, right? And so there's a lot of lenders and there's a lot of dealers, and we're doing our best to find the most valuable or most, the best fit as we can, because we can't work with every lender overnight and we can't work with every dealer overnight, and that's all right. But what we're hoping to do is to add those lenders over time, add more tools over time, so that all the dealers that are on our platform are getting that benefit as we grow and as we add those lender relationships.
Wow, this is in such a short amount of time, you guys have come so far. It's ridiculous. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
Have you had time to look ahead down the road where Prepare is going to be headed?
Yeah, I think yes is the answer. I think right now, we are sort of full steam ahead, and we've been we've been spending most of our time in dealerships trying to understand what their needs are. And now, we feel pretty confident that we've got some areas to help improve, right? We're also building other tools like, cash conversion calculators, things like that, like just tools that folks can use to get people into the financing funnel, not just once they're there. But what we're looking for in the future is integration with a lot of the other tools, because while our tool is very easy to use, we're doing everything we can to limit the amount of data that has to be input by a customer, especially with this, the ability to pull credit now. But what we really want to do is connect to other systems. And when we're doing that, we think we're really, there's other ways to do that. Maybe it's, via API. I won't get too techie on you, but there's other ways we can partner with lenders through technology and partner with other systems, so that we are all working to make sure that the dealer is working the most efficiently, and also that lenders are getting the loans that they want, right? It's a win-win for everybody involved, because no one wants, the dealership doesn't want, and the lender doesn't want loans that should have never gone to the lender to go to the lender, right?
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, Stephanie, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, Stephanie, thanks so much for taking time. I remember Rick and I speaking at the convention last year and post Capital Talk on our website last year, when you were still known as Reserve Max. And one of the things we talked about is this feature, the original features you were bringing the industry were truly game-changing features. And that is a term that honestly is quite overused. We used to joke that game changer could be a bit of a drinking game if you wanted to have a good time. But I really do feel not only what you first introduced, but what you've talked to us today about has the opportunity to really change the industry and the lending game and making deals close. Do you feel the same way?
We do. We feel like, and I didn't even talk about the fact that as we connect more systems and gather more data, that we're going to be able to predict more things. So we'll have predictive analytics, right? The machine learning that's in the background. I mean, we have just scratched the surface on what we can do in certain ways, right? Once you have more data, and as over time, we can do things like predict rates. We can predict how likely you are to get approved with a certain lender, right? Things like that. We're pretty excited about bringing that forward as well. But that, again, that's down the line, because we have to have data. But yeah, we think this is revolutionary. That's a strong word. That's a strong word. I also don't like to use extreme words. But we think we're doing a good thing here. We think we've really found a problem that we can solve, and we're excited about it.
Very good. Well, Stephanie, I think, boy, that really covers it, and it's covered a lot. So I want to thank you again for your time. The only suggestion I might make, down the road is if you get Jerome Powell's, either his cell phone or something, so that you can help him change some rates, that would be good too.
Well, if I could, I would. How about that?
Again, thank you, Stephanie, very much. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.